Coming at you, not live,
Not so
with Judgement Engine episode 3. This time, not Game of Thrones.
Whoa. Hey.
Gonna try mixing it up. This time talking about Avengers Endgame.
You may not have heard about it. This is a movie. Do you need me to tell you about it, Jarrett? It's a Marvel movie.
Is it an indie film?
It's a very low budget indie film.
Okay.
Yeah, there's been a few of them. Anyway, don't worry about it. Just feel your way through this. You'll get it.
All right. So to start things off with, did you enjoy it? Did you like Avengers Endgame?
I mean, so everyone that we've talked to has said fine, and it's really hard not to also just say it was fine. There's something about this movie that like manages your expectations to a very precise level and leaves you feeling like we did it, we did all the thing. Like we literally opened portals and had all your favorite characters on display. Like, here's everyone you like, now go home. You know, so it's hard to say anything other than fine. I don't think it was as good as Infinity War, but Infinity War gets to end with a gotcha. It gets to end with a fuck you, right? This one can't. It literally can't.
So there's two things to break down there. So the fine thing and then the Infinity War thing, which I think is like almost like a subtopic, like in itself. So the first thing is it was fine. So I think the expectation or the hope was at the very worst it should be fine. But yeah, I think it's impressive how maybe not that they pulled out all of the stops for this, but that you threw the kitchen sink at this movie and it just ended up being fine. Like, I think it was enjoyable.
It's 3 movies. It's the Consequences film, the Armageddon film in the beginning. It moves into the heist film in the middle where they're having a good time revisiting everything, and then it moves into the end of Black Panther, end of Infinity War, end of every Marvel movie, big space Nazi battle that usually happens.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I think and I want to take that into why I think Infinity War was better. I think Infinity War had a very cohesive plot as to like, this is what's happening, like this is what we don't want to happen, whatever, with like Thanos getting the Infinity Stones and whatnot. And even though there were multiple like battles and things happening at multiple places, either be it on Titan when they're like fighting Thanos, or when you're having stuff going on Earth or in Wakanda or whatever, it all felt like one big thing, and it wasn't kind of chopped into bits and pieces. Where I think Endgame is very much like a bunch of little tiny episodes kind of mashed together, especially in the whole like in the time heist, all that stuff sort of section of the movie, especially when they're jumping from the movie feels long because you can tell that there's going to be at least this many episodes because you have to get this many stones and you have to kind of check them off, and then you're jumping from scene to scene and you're not really sure when things are taking place or how things are taking place.
It's impressive they managed to do it, because writing this thing where they leap to, there's 5 different places they go to, like that's impressive. They can check off all the things and hit those beats, but that's happening in the middle of a completely different movie.
Yeah,
that had different bookends.
Like my problem with this is that like your Avengers Endgame is like the Neapolitan like ice cream of movies, and I don't like Neapolitan. I just want one good thing.
Chocolate, huh?
Yeah, I find it to be like should I mix the strawberry with the chocolate, or do I need to do one of each, or like if I only eat the chocolate, is that bad? Should I not?
I mean, Neapolitan makes sense for this movie because they need to do 3 things. They need to have emotional resonance, they need to have the big battle, and then they wanted to do something that retcons what they had done before.
Okay,
right?
so I'm gonna throw the flag on that. I don't know necessarily if they needed a big battle per se. And this goes with the idea that I've heard other people talk about is, um, oh, oh, I don't know if we need to say this. I'm just gonna assume this for everything that we do, that there's gonna be spoilers.
Yeah, of
So
course.
just in case
Yeah.
that we didn't say anything spoiler already,
Yeah,
it's out there. Yeah.
We're rich, spoiler rich vein here.
The most spoiler dense. The idea that like after they kill Thanos in like the first like 5 minutes of the movie or whatever, that they were hoping that Thanos wouldn't like return into the movie and that was it. And I kind of agree with that. It feels very much like they were clinging on to Thanos because people enjoyed Thanos in Infinity War, but the Thanos that's in Endgame isn't even the Thanos from Infinity War. It's a different timeline one who arguably should be like weaker than other Thanos because he didn't have the Infinity Stones.
That's the one thing that third act does though, is it makes the case for Doctor Strange's 1 in a million chance, because even without those fucking things, he almost beats them.
Which is a huge question. Okay, this movie I think has a lot of things you can poke holes into and like logically say like this doesn't make any sense. And I think one of those is, why is Thanos without the most powerful whatever sources of power in the world just as strong as when he does have them, amongst many other things in the movies, or in the movie. So it's like a big, there's a lot of confusion I think here with what's going on like logically, but I don't want to talk about that right now or anything. But
I mean, he was always in the comics, he's strong to begin with, right? He doesn't need the stones to be strong. So I think they're just selling it. This is their proof, right? Because they have to justify what Doctor Strange did. They have to.
Okay, but there's also a bunch of other things that they did to like purposefully like avoid just like one-shotting Thanos. I don't want to call it that, but okay, if you want to break it down in the
like Nova is held away from him.
Yeah.
In a certain
So
way,
multiple things. One,
what's Captain Marvel? I mean, she looks
Hulk is like not allowed to participate in the fight.
Yeah.
At all. When we show that now he kind of knows what he's doing, which is really weird, and I don't know if you want to talk about that, but okay. So
I thought it was kind of funny. It was a good twist. Like he's sort of this weird looking thing now.
I felt like we did a lot of weird like things we gained in Infinity War. We kind of immediately like lost the meanings. Like in Infinity War, like Hulk was like there was like this big conflict about like Hulk is a thing and Banner is a thing and it's really hard. And he's like, yeah, I just fixed it by smiling and it worked out now. And I'm like, so that whole thing was nothing.
Yeah, he doesn't have much of an arc in this. He's Ruffalo Hulk or whatever, and that's just, he's at that level. He's sort of like the Obi-Wan of the film.
Thor had this whole arc about how he had to go deal with like Peter Dinklage in space, and how he had to learn to accept his like role in Thor Ragnarok and everything, and he had to like step up to the plate and become stronger, and he was pretty much one-shotting Thanos at the end, and then that immediately was lost, and they're like, actually he was a wimp the whole time and he can't do anything. Now he's a hobo.
PTSD from never gonna die.
I'm just saying there was a whole lot in there, and we immediately threw it away because it was convenient for the plot. Because again, we didn't want Thanos to be one shot.
It wasn't a continuation of Infinity War. Basically, it was. So that I think this is my largest point about this film, and it speaks to what you're saying. This film feels like it wasn't authentic. This film feels the most writerly of the films, where they had to get these pieces into position so they could fire everything off. So people weren't necessarily doing things from some motivation. It was literally Ant-Man survives and he's like, I have to tell someone about the time machine. It was literally Tony Stark.
Yeah.
You get 5 minutes to be conflicted, but we don't have time, so you can't fight with your wife. She literally has to send you within 5 minutes to your death.
So
You know, everything was like the most
yeah, yeah.
funneling as possible.
Okay, still going on the one-shotting Thanos thing, right? So they made Thor a hobo, so he couldn't one-shot Thanos. They
Which is the same thing. You have to mitigate power level so you can get to your end battle.
they kept Scarlet Witch. She got to fight Thanos for like a minute where she was winning, and then they were like, "Actually, just get out of here. I don't want to see you anymore." Captain Marvel, who showed that she could one-shot
A fleet.
everything. They were like, "We're gonna keep you out of this fight for no really good reason, and we're gonna keep you into the very
It's a
last
decent
30
reason.
seconds."
She doesn't have a reason to hang around Earth. So even the fact that she appears is a bit of a like, just get in here.
I find it more upsetting that.
But you might have told her you had
Yeah,
this plan.
no, this doesn't make it doesn't make any sense. If you're
Like you probably want her on the plan.
Yeah.
That's true.
so if you're gonna say we're gonna rewrite
Hawkeye's
time,
nice, but the demigod could also maybe be
yeah,
helpful.
it makes no sense that she wasn't there. Again, because she's too strong. Ant-Man, both in the sense of like what would happen if Ant-Man went up Thanos' ass and grew bigger, and also the fact that he was a giant man murdering everybody. They never let him interact with Thanos because they knew it made no sense for Ant-Man to lose given the power that they gave him. So even though we were supposed to have this, like, even though we were given this, like, supposedly really dramatic, like, fight at the very end, it didn't make any sense because there shouldn't have been a fight. Like, once you teleported everybody in, it should have been instantaneously over.
Yeah, concentrate. Don't worry about the mooks. You know, like you guys shred mooks like this all the
Yeah.
time. Have Nova just do a mook circle where
Yeah.
she murders, people in a circle.
Before I said this movie, I thought this movie was enjoyable, and part of that is you have to, at least for me, as soon as we started doing the time traveling thing, I was like, oh no, not this. This is how we're solving it.
They have to undo it, and there's nothing they can do where you're like, oh, they earned it.
So
There's nothing they can do.
so
Oh, look at this cloning facility we found that
No.
we can clone 3 billion humans. There's nothing they can do.
So okay, so before we get too deep into that thing about like how could they have done it differently, part of I had to sacrifice. Oh, they're going to do this stupid time travel thing, so I have to sacrifice that. And the other thing you have to sacrifice is this movie cannot be logical because they need everybody to have their hero shining moment, whatever thing. And that if this was
that's the most important thing about this movie is that it's satisfying, not that it's logical.
yeah, that's what I mean by enjoyable. It is enjoyable because it has like these nice like character like Iron Man has this moment, Captain America has
gets
this moment.
the hammer. And did you not like that moment? That's a good
No,
moment.
no, that was nice, but like I could only enjoy that if I forgot about everything else.
Yeah. Well,
Which
it's
is like what I
happening
had
in,
to do.
in an artificial blender at the end.
Yeah, so I think there were a lot of weird like everybody had to have their hero moment, everybody had to have their like little line, and like some of it was like very awkwardly like pushed in there. Like there was the scene where it was like all of the lady Avengers were like, we'll help you through Spider-Man.
That was the worst part. Yeah, unfortunately, that was like because it also had like the antenna lady ready to fight because they're like she's also a woman, so get in here.
Yeah.
And it's like she's famous for not doing anything. That's like her character. That's not something weird. She shouldn't be here.
I appreciate that they're like, we're gonna give everybody a hero moment, and like we're gonna have like this time they're like, let's have the all ladies hero moment, and I'm like, okay, but like it was weirdly, it just kind of like happened out of nowhere.
I mean, they write a better reversal of the tropes in the part where Gamora and Pratt are together. And Gamora's like, I don't know who the fuck you are, and knees him in the balls. Like, that's pretty good reversal of the, like, damsel who we've managed to save you through time, thing. Like, that's a reversal of expectations. So that is kind of like a nice play on tropes. But just the, like, you're saved by a bunch of ladies who just happen to all be standing here on the battle.
Yeah, I was more confused as to how they were all in the same spot
Yeah.
compared to.
Isn't there something happening?
Yeah. I was like, that's an interesting formation you guys made, but all right. But yeah, there's plenty of just like people kind of just being in semi-convenient places and whatnot, and it's like, okay, that's fine. This gives you your, like, Doctor Strange happened to, I think, be right by where the dam was breaking or whatever the fuck was happening, and I'm like, it's a good thing he was there. That's one of those
things where he's too powerful, so they have to take him out.
Yeah.
You have to deal with water.
I don't. Yeah, I don't know. It's fine. Everybody got to have their moment, and everybody got to beat up some baddies and stuff. So that's nice.
To you, you don't think that they sold the retcon?
No.
Because we're back at zero. Spider-Man is back in school. Everything is back, right?
Well, it's kind of.
Thanos got dusted.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the fact that there's like, if they're continuing with this timeline, this is like a post Thanos timeline, and there is some weird 5-year gap thing that people remember, but then some people don't.
Well, half the people will be 5 years older.
Yeah, which is like,
which only matters for Spider-Man, but he's not deep in enough for it to really matter. They can just say everyone who was your friend died also.
They called it the blip. Those of us who blipped away came back the same age, but our classmates that didn't blip had grown 5 years older.
Yeah, and everyone who was relevant, Mary Jane and your friend who I forget his name, they all got dusted, so it's fine.
It happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I did enjoy this movie, but I didn't think it was like, it didn't feel like it was like nearly as well put together as Infinity War, I think. And
well, it just had so many parts. So for me, I think this is almost the best they could do with the retcon, because they made it not about the retcon, they made it about the let's revisit the entire canon of film.
See, and I don't like that.
You didn't like that?
Because it felt too like self-congratulatory.
But this is, what is this, the 30th goddamn film, or 32nd or something like that? It is impressive.
No,
they have come a long
by all means,
way.
Congratulations, you did it. Great job. But it felt like it was like if you're watching some show or whatever, it's like the recap episode before things actually start happening. And the fact that it was in here and it wasn't some like, it almost felt like it was some like weird like behind the scenes deleted scene DVD extra that was like shoved into it.
This is only good if you've seen all the other ones, because otherwise everything is totally out of context. Like the Soul Stone, that scene's not going to make any fucking sense at all. You know, the part where Chris Pratt's dancing around on the, that's fun.
Yeah.
You know, but it doesn't make any sense without context.
Yeah.
All that stuff is rewarding you for having watched everything. So it's kind of nice in that aspect. Like, we got here. We did the whole journey.
I suppose. I mean, I can understand why.
And there's no callback to Avengers 2.
Well, Tony Stark has an offhand comment about it.
Okay, yeah.
When he's complaining about it, he's like, I told you we needed the suits around the world.
Yeah, okay. So that's the only callback to this ornery.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Nothing, we didn't see Ultron zooming around or whatever.
So that gets me into something else I want to talk about just broadly.
Sure.
Did you think that the character arcs ended satisfyingly? Now that we've come to an end for most of the characters.
So out of the like original 6 or whatever of them, and we can just run them down.
Yeah, sure.
Black Widow, I thought was so there's a chance that they're saving. There's a chance they could save her and they could res her in some weird way and come back for later.
Movie coming up.
It's a prequel. It's fine.
Okay, all right.
I hope it's a prequel at least. I think that's confirmed, but anyways, the way they so just kind of like nonchalantly killed her off, I thought was hilarious. It was so goofy and like sad that
they had
that's
to,
how
like, fight over it.
I mean, that's another thing. Like when they're breaking up the teams, why would you send the two people with no superpowers on the same team?
Yeah, I mean, not even like, hey, we respect you, but like you might need to fly over a small gap or something. You know what I mean? Like,
No,
just
it didn't make any sense.
Little bit of something.
Since we're already talking about that, Hawkeye, in the movie theater when in the first like 2 minutes of the movie where it's like Hawkeye's family or whatever and they're doing the thing and then they get dusted and he turns around and he's like confused. I started laughing in the theater because I thought it was funny.
Really? You didn't like that scene?
No, I thought it had no emotional weight to it.
I have to disagree with you on this one. I think that scene was effective because it brings you up to speed also. Because he wasn't there with any of this stuff. It gives you the stinger in Avengers does the same thing, where you're not where the snap was and people are going in the city. This is the same thing, and it kind of like brings you back up to speed of what just happened.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I just think Hawkeye as like a character in every sense is a joke. Like his powers wise, I think
you just thought it was funny because he was the one experiencing.
Yeah,
like, this doesn't matter.
Yeah. And then I laughed at him again when they like gave him a terrible haircut and then made him like a ninja samurai, whatever. Like out of all of the people who would like turn dark and edgy and whatever, like Hawkeye is the biggest joke of a character. Like if anything, I was like you should have taken, I don't know, like Thor should have turned murderous and hateful, and he's like, I should just kill everyone first.
But Thor makes more sense going the way he did because Thor is kind of like a goof. Hawkeye, we don't really know anything about.
No. Chris Hemsworth is a goof.
Thor is Chris Hemsworth. There's no
Okay.
division. After Ragnarok, there's no division.
After Infinity War, he became super powerful.
Yeah.
He realized that his mistake was not murdering fast enough, and the man who learns to become the murderous, hateful person is the guy on a farm.
But Thor doesn't lose anyone. He doesn't have any revenge. He takes his revenge. He succeeded. Whereas Hawkeye never got to have a cathartic moment. That's why Hawkeye's out hunting.
I'll say sure, but I think as far as the characters go, I still think it feels goofy.
I think they had to do it because, like you said before, Hawkeye has nothing. He has one thing, and that's an occasional exploding arrow. That's the only thing he can do. So what do you do with this character? So they just had to give him something.
Just like everyone else in this movie had to have their hero moment or whatever.
Yeah, everyone got a little something.
As far as his resolution, I thought it was dumb because he already went and he got his family thing before, and you just took that away so he could go back and have his like family thing. Like Hawkeye just reset. He didn't do anything.
Yeah, but he was already good. You know, he was like, well, he almost killed himself. That was his arc, right? He's like, I'd rather just die. And then Widow's arc, like again, we're talking really their moments of sacrifice, right? Which one? And in that sense, maybe Nebula knew Descendants too. She's like, what do? You fire arrows? Interesting. And you have a small gun. And you can kick people. Oh, that's... Okay, well, you two seem like the perfect team. We're going to send you after the Soul Stone. Brilliant, right?
Okay, that's the best explanation I've been given, is that she was like, oh man, these
Galaxy brain.
like neither of these people are useful. So again, as far as resolutions for those two characters, didn't care for them, and I think their resolutions.
Yeah, but their arcs are less outsized too. Like what did Widow have before? She had like weird relationship stuff with the Hulk, who was another character who had really been given nothing before.
Well, he still didn't get given anything.
She felt like guilty about stuff, but it was always outsized by Captain America's guilt about stuff. It was always like the little version of like Captain America carrying the world on his back, you know. So this was there was nothing built up to unleash here.
Okay, so
for either of them.
This is getting to what I wanted to go through, because I wanted to go through the useless characters first.
Okay, all right. Who else we got?
The last one would be Thor, or sorry, not Thor. The Hulk, and I feel like the Hulk almost had something
It's a cool moment when he wears the glove and he's sort of like he knows what's going on, but then
Didn't matter.
yeah, he gets put out because of that.
So
But he saves everyone. He's the one who saves everyone. Yeah, he reverses the first snap.
um, there's a lot to talk about as to like why Iron Man was able to make a magic glove that was as good as the one that we had to forge from like a star with like the magic dwarf man and stuff. But that's like another like logic whatever question. But anyways, so Thor,
That's just because they don't have time to.
Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man, I think, are the only ones that have a good resolution, and that's because people like them, and also in like the movies. I think the movies as like a whole, like the 30, however many in the Marvel series, I think they actually like in the movies they cared about those characters more,
Yeah, that's fair.
and I think you can
They're
tell
often
that.
written lead things that affect the main plot and everything like that.
Yeah, so at the end, when you have Thanos versus that trio, it's like these are the people who matter.
This is who matters.
This
Yeah,
is
it's
the
true.
A-team.
They tip their hand. Yeah.
And I would say those are the only people who have some sort of like decent character arc resolution, whatever going on here. Like Captain America he gets to use the hammer, he gets to do the cool thing, he gets to go back in time, and he gets to go live his life and whatever, right?
Yeah.
You have Thor who has like he gets to like talk to his mom.
Captain
and-
America's vindicated. He keeps getting up. That's all he
yeah,
has to
he
do.
gets like rewarded.
He never successfully does anything, but he keeps getting up. I mean, he steals the thing. That's the one thing he does,
That's
which is
pretty good.
fine. It's fine, you know. But he keeps getting up and he gets to the end.
Yeah. Thor gets to have like a moment with his mom, and he gets to kind of like he's not 100% back in action, but he's like I gotta get back in. Not he doesn't have to get back in shape, but kind of like I have to go do things
I
and I
can
have to
do the right thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like he has his like all right, get back into hero mode sort of lifestyle, whatever.
He gets some lust for life back.
Yeah.
In the best scene, I think, when he's talking to Pratt in his ship at the very end. And he's like, we all know who's in charge here. I love that fucking scene. That was fucking great.
I think they did an interesting thing where they ended his story kind of open, where they're like, we can go back to you if we want.
Yeah, you can go anywhere, you can do whatever.
Yeah, whereas clearly,
Which is a nice spot to end with Thor, right?
yeah, whereas clearly with like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr., they're like, we're done with you.
Yeah.
Like this is the capper. But I think that's fine because I think. Even if you're not making it like a Thor-centric Thor story about Asgardian whatever, he could roll with the space crew or whatever. Like that's fine. He can be jokey.
And they left the door for Wakiki to come back in and direct another one. I mean, he was in this movie as his bud, sitting on the couch playing Fortnite. So that's all good for me because Ragnarok was great.
Yeah, fine. And then Iron Man, I think, got the most like complete sort of resolution.
He got the send off. I mean, that's
yeah, like he was the alpha and the omega sort of this whole thing, and he got to do the family man thing, he got to do the hero thing, he got to
hug his dad.
yeah, they gave him everything, and I would argue like rightfully so. Like I feel like he's helped definitely like carry the Marvel movies, and like he earned it.
Yeah.
He did it.
It's about you.
And he got arguably like the best line of like, and I'm Iron Man snap.
I'm sure the first 3 times he's like, and I am Robert Downey Jr. And they're like, please say Iron Man.
But
retake.
He got it, and it felt like it was like he earned it, and he got it, and it was great. And they even at the very end, when it's like his like funeral service and they're sending the thing out, and they even have like the witty little like retort on his little funeral thing,
arc reactor.
Yeah, where it's like it proves Tony Stark has a heart or whatever, and I'm like, that's beautiful. Like even in death, they're like doing like the witty little junk or whatever. So for me, his was the best kind of resolution, emotional like payout or
Yeah,
whatever.
his was also the most visible. He dissolved the entire enemy force. Which
Yeah.
was a little timey-wimey. I thought they had to be sent back, but they just murdered all of them. I think that's what happened. A
Yeah,
little
yeah.
unclear.
I think he just blew everybody, all the
like,
baddies up.
fuck you,
Yeah.
guys. Yeah.
He had one last fuck you
Yeah.
moment.
So.
Yeah, so I don't know. I think that gives us about a 50% success rate on whatever OG Avengers
Threads.
or whatever. But I would also argue that they never really gave a fuck about Black Widow and Hawkeye and Hulk. If you notice, there was a slight pause between Black Widow and Hawkeye because I had to remember his name because I forgot it.
You know his real name, Jeremy Renner. That's what they named him in the movie, right?
Is it Clint?
Hey, I think you're right.
Okay, I was debating between
And
that.
she's Natasha, right?
Yeah.
Hey, see,
Yeah.
they came through.
Okay.
Better than Avatar.
But yeah, so I would say that they did a decent job. Yeah. They did a decent job of kind of wrapping the ones up that we cared about.
Yeah, the best people got the best fight. You know.
Yeah.
It was pretty awesome. They literally gave Thanos like, here, have a cool sword.
I saw that.
It's so cool.
I saw that and I was like, this is to sell a new action figure.
Yeah, exactly. It was just a cool thing.
I was like, this serves no purpose. Yo, when he did the spinny shit, I was like, that's bullshit.
Doesn't make any sense, but it worked. And he like I said before, he seemed incredibly dangerous in that fight. You know, he shreds the guy's shield. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
There was some good stuff in there.
Yeah, so I guess just after all of that, with the
Do you ever want to see another Marvel movie?
yes,
Yeah?
but
You still in? Doctor Strange too?
I think it is hypercritical that going forward, whether they carry on, Captain Marvel, Black Panther, whoever, or if they just completely clean slate and start with new people or whatever, they need to very quickly figure out a way of how to adjust for people's power levels, because I think this is the movie that showed the most of there's too many characters who are too strong, and our only way of getting around those is just by pushing them off somewhere randomly off screen and just pretending that they're not there, because otherwise this whole story changes if they're actually involved.
I mean, this is a tale as old as time, though. Comics have been failing to deal with
Oh
this.
yeah,
since
this
the very
is some
beginning.
mad power creep, right? And
The best thing to do is not let people get to Nova to Captain Marvel level at all. Retcon it so that they're sub-galaxy class.
yeah,
But they want to have the moment, too, from the comic book cover, so...
yeah. I mean, the best thing that they can do, I think, is if they keep the space people like Captain Marvel and Thor just in space.
Off you go.
Yeah, no, make them fight a fucking black hole or something. not-
Civil War, which one was it? The Winter Soldier? That's just dudes with guns. It's
Yeah.
an active movie.
Yeah,
You know?
no, as long as you keep them within their
Everyone
own
has to
power
be
level
within
thing,
their
then it's
rank.
okay.
Yeah, weight
But
class.
it definitely throws into question future team up / Avenger things.
Yeah, that's the question. Maybe the Avengers is dead. Maybe there's not a lot of purpose.
I think what they could do is they could put it on ice for a few movies and then hint at we're gonna reassemble the Avengers in 6 years or something
Once
like
we've
that.
calibrated everyone.
Yeah. One more thing before we're done. Knowing that you've seen Captain Marvel, the solo movie, and then
Yep.
Captain Marvel in this, did she need to be in this movie? Was her showing up important for anything? Because to me,
No.
she had one line at the beginning, she left, and then she's like, I gotta go deal with the space stuff, and then she just came in and blew everything up.
She blows up the spaceship, but I could see Doctor Strange doing that too, or whatever. Yeah, pinch. No, and I know why you're saying this is because they sold her so hard at the end of Infinity War they're like, oh shit.
Yes.
Captain Marvel is the piece.
Yeah, like
that
this
will
is our
undo all
savior. This
Yeah.
is what we needed. She's gonna carry us to victory.
Yeah.
They had the whole movie, like right before
Right.
Endgame dropped of like, this is her, this is all you need to know about her. Now that you've gotten to know her, you're gonna see her in Endgame, and then she said bye.
But yeah. False
So I think that was a huge, we have no idea what to do with this character.
Yeah, I mean, it might have been a casualty of development cycles or something like that. But yeah, I mean, look, they had to finish this thing. They didn't have time to make it about her, right? That's probably what it ended up being. It can't be about her. It has to be about 17 people.
Yeah,
So-
but also maybe don't try and introduce a super powerful character right before your big let's wrap up everyone's emotional lines movie. And that's gonna be it. Okay, hope you enjoyed this one, even though it's not Game of Thrones. We'll see you next time.
I wish I
Bye.
could see what was happening this time.